So good morning, good afternoon, and welcome. I'm very pleased to be joined by Vernon Paltoo. Vernon is the president of the National Energy Corporation of Trinidad and Tobago and is based there in the capital city and port of Spain. So welcome, Vernon. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you so much, Nadim.
Yeah, I mean, Trinidad, if I remember correctly, has quite good oil, traditional oil and gas resources. Is that correct?
Correct.
And what is the interest around hydrogen, and how do you view it?
So Trinidad and Tobago is, as you correctly said, historically an oil and gas province. But around the late 1990s, we transitioned from oil-dominated economy to a gas-dominated economy, natural gas, and we became a major exporter of natural gas and the commodities and the products that are derived from natural gas, namely methanol, ammonia, iron and steel, and LNG. Those are the primary products that we would have, exported. So we became world leaders in the export of those commodities in the 2000s or thereabouts. In terms of the top 10 in the global, we were the number one exporter of ammonia, methanol, and even in the top 10 LNG and iron and steel. However, from the perspective of two fronts, both the diversification and the longevity of the economy in terms of ensuring that we have a sustainable future economy, understanding that the supply of gas is finite, as well as our climate change, commitments and the reality that we face in terms of carbon emissions, etc. We have a lot of infrastructure that uses hydrogen. All of our industry uses hydrogen. At present, it is gray hydrogen. So we have, we have capacity for in excess of 6 million tons of methanol, 5 million tons of ammonia, and it's all gray hydrogen at present, based on natural gas. So understanding how the future industry is transitioning and what the expectation is, particularly for the markets that we target, which is primarily Europe and Asia. And the fact that with CBAM coming on stream in Europe in particular, we have to, adapt to the industry and more or less ensure that our local industry remain competitive. So from that perspective, we have embarked on a very structured long-term plan to produce hydrogen and to essentially decarbonize our energy industry well into the future. So that plan, which was developed in 2022, it's a hydrogen roadmap, has 3 phases, so Horizon 1, Horizon 2, Horizon 3, which, the first phase calls for establishing of a demonstration project integrating green hydrogen, a demonstration green hydrogen unit into one of our existing petrochemical plants, ammonia or methanol plants. And from that point going forward, we are on a pathway to develop the renewable energy power as well as the green hydrogen production capacity, with a plan all the way to 2065, which calls for reducing our gas consumption gradually and replacing it with green hydrogen. We have already market with the industry we have at present. The market is, about 1.5 million tons of grey hydrogen based on the present output of the industry. So from that perspective, we are on a very structured pathway towards producing green hydrogen into the future. Beyond supplying our domestic market, we foresee that we will eventually be able to export. We have capacity to produce and export green hydrogen, but that is well into the future, going forward, when the technology develops properly for export of green hydrogen, etc.
Yeah. And how are you producing the renewable electricity?
Right. So at present, we would have just we are currently in construction of a 92 megawatt solar PV facility. So that will be completed by next year, by 2025, and the power for the demonstration plant will come from that facility, right? Longer term, in terms of large-scale production, the anticipation and the expectation is that we would do it from wind, both onshore and offshore wind. We would have done initial wind studies that project the capacity for up to 57 gigawatts of wind power, that's onshore and offshore, on a levelized basis. That equates to approximately 25 gigawatts of wind power. And we expect that we can produce as much as 4 million tons of hydrogen from 25 gigawatts of power. And that is part of the long-term strategy and plan.
Yeah, fascinating, and some big and highly ambitious numbers. So, to talk to you, Vernon. Many thanks, and we look forward to your contribution at World Hydrogen Week and seeing you in Copenhagen.
Fantastic.